most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi folks, Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Hey, I'm Chris the Pharmacist.
And today we're going to give you a video on, are you injured? Heal faster while you sleep. Simple inflammation management is the key. This is science-based. We got Chris the Pharmacist here. He's going to fill us in on all the science so we can understand it and go through the whole three-pronged approach to get this goal completed. But before we go any further,
We got this.
all right, we do have an incredible giveaway. We actually have 6 exercise products that go directly from Bob and Brad. We have our name on all of these. They're high quality and we promote them frantically. So go to bobandbrad.com, go to the program section, I'm sorry. Go to the giveaway tab. You'll find out more about it there, or go to Facebook. It's pinned to the top of the page. Also, if you only can stand 60 minutes of us, 60 seconds, wow, 60 minutes. Go to Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, and you're there. Now, the giveaway, look at this. We have a whole set of large loop bands here with a nice box. We've got our real nice handles, Bob and Brad stretch out strands. They come in a box. They're beautiful bands. This is a nice hip exercise device so that you can stretch the hips out. They were much more comfortable than the latex ones. And the suspension straps, I love these. These are one of my favorite things I work out with now. And the grip strengthener right there. We invented that. Actually, a mountain climber invented that. It's a great deal. All right, let's go to work.
All right. That was tough.
Yeah.
Cornucopia of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at this baby little
Baby
stretch out.
straps.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just kidding. It's a rubber band. All right. So, Chris, heal faster while you sleep. That's a pretty cool thing. But is it true? And if it is true, can you explain as to, what the key is to it?
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting. We do seem to heal faster when we sleep, and there was a pretty cool study that came out this last January. The study specifically it's called Chronotherapy of NSAIDs May Enhance Postoperative Recovery. So a group kind of looked with...
That means I don't know what the heck you're
All
talking
right,
about. Can
all
you
right.
shorten that up to something that...
Basically, what it's saying is the timing is everything. And so the key is when you take an anti-inflammatory drug,
Like...
ibuprofen,
Okay,
and we'll use that
across
as our
the
example.
counter.
And that's what the study used was ibuprofen. Just
Okay.
plain old ibuprofen like you get Advil, Motrin, ibuprofen at any local pharmacy or online source.
So you look on the box, it says main ingredient, ibuprofen
200
milligrams.
Yep.
Okay.
So you betcha. So, always check with your doctor to make sure it's right for you. Those of us that have kidney problems, heart problems, we have to be real careful with it.
Sure.
But for the purposes of this study and making sure that we're going to get the best possible healing, this was some interesting stuff. So basically the subjects were divided into an active group and resting group, and they all had an injury that they had to study. And so basically what happened was we know a lot of things about anti-inflammatories. Since the 70s, we have known that anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen actually can delay healing, particularly from a post-operative standpoint. So if we have surgery,
Actually delay slow healing down.
slow healing down. So
We know that, but everyone
takes it. So it's kind of a conundrum. So we've gotten a lot more advanced in our understanding of how our bodies work.
Mm-hmm.
And so what the authors of this particular study looked at very clearly is they noticed we have genes that govern our circadian rhythm. That's kind of our cycle that tells us when to sleep and when to get up and what we do throughout our day.
Yeah, that has kind of been not a buzzword, but something people are more familiar with.
Yeah. So, so they found that we have these clock genes that kind of govern that, and it seems to work hand in hand with the inflammatory process. So it was really interesting. So like I said, we know that NSAIDs may delay healing, but at the same time, we know that they help with pain relief. They help reduce inflammation. So we feel better. So it creates kind of a conundrum.
So the inflammation, you're saying the swelling is good. It actually helps us heal.
Swelling is actually a good thing. It's our body's natural way of getting all those little chemotaxic factors into, let's say you hurt your elbow.
You want me to throw the flag? Yeah.
All right. All these healing factors that come in to try and help us to kind of calm things down and allow things, new tissue growth, whether it's a broken bone, a torn ligament, a strained muscle tears. So our body has a unique way of understanding what injury it is and how to heal it.
So it inflames, it swells up, and all of that fluid or the inflammation is actually full of good things to help it heal faster.
Correct. And
So we take ibuprofen to
reduce the inflammation. So it's kind of a
see. I always kind of thought that you do it. There's that good stuff in there, but it gets to be too much, and it swells up, and it actually pressure and creates pain. So the ibuprofen actually just releases it enough so it doesn't it takes the air out of the balloon.
It takes the edge off, and for most of us, for comfort and humane use, that's kind of what we use it for. But ibuprofen not only is an anti-inflammatory, it's also analgesic, so it helps with pain relief.
All right.
So we'll kind of touch on that to a degree with the example in the study as well. So what they did with the subjects is they kind of grouped them up because we know that our cycles, again, circadian rhythm. So we're trying to figure out when's the best time to take ibuprofen so we can get the best possible healing.
Sure.
Because we don't want to inhibit it. So what they've kind of postulated is that when we're asleep at night, that's when our best tissue recovery occurs.
So it's healing the best while you sleep, and that I think that's pretty easy to accept.
Yep, exactly. And so, but during the day, that's when your pain is highest because our bodies are active. So let's say sprained ankle. You're gonna kind of guard that joint. You're going to limp a little bit, or you're going to keep pressure off of it. You're not going to necessarily have your full range of motion. So with that respect to that, they found that these painful mediators go up, and same with some of the tissue tear down factors also go up during the day in our active phase. So what they postulated was we're going to give ibuprofen to this group of subjects in their active period, and we're going to give ibuprofen to this group of subjects in their resting period. And what they found was pretty interesting. So when they compared them across the board, they found exclusively that the active group that was taking ibuprofen healed much better. Their bone volume was better because it was on broken bones was what the study was. And so the bone volume was better. They had better union where the bones come together.
Yep.
So they had less guarding during the day with pain relief. So meaning they had a more, I guess, a better gait as far as trying to walk.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when they noticed those, and then they compared it to the resting, so the subjects slept really well and they were much more comfortable, and they also see that rest is healing. But when they actually examined the bones at the end point of the study, they showed less healing, delayed and even very diminished healing.
So if you take the bottom line is if you take the ibuprofen before you go to bed with the idea I will sleep better, I'm going to have less pain when I get up, that may be true, but the healing is actually slowed down as a result. So you want to take the ibuprofen 2 hours before you go to bed, 6 hours?
They didn't really identify that. Basically what they did, they equated to a 500 milligram dose of ibuprofen for the subject matter. So from that standpoint, they didn't actually, like how people take it, it's 2 tablets every 4 to 6 hours apart.
Right.
So they didn't really examine that. They gave it as a dose and equivalent to the subjects. And so what we know is that if you take ibuprofen through the day, you'll take it a couple times, 2-3 times during the day.
Yep.
We probably wouldn't want you to, based on this study, it almost seems like you probably wouldn't want to take it past, 6 o'clock at night, so that if you're going to bed around 10.
Sure.
But they also showed with the gene expression that our pain factors actually are, probably from, let's say typical person gets up at 6 in the morning and kind of the evening, they kind of rest, relax, wind down. By bedtime, the pain's not so bad simply because they've begun to relax. Yeah. And then sleep is when all these other factors kind of come into play. There's other inflammatory factors that come in, the fluids that we're having.
Sure.
And what they found is that if you cut that supply off using the anti-inflammatory, you're prolonging the healing stage. So it's going to take longer to get better and maybe even inhibit some of the healing.
Sure. So the bottom line is, take your if you're going to do a three
times a day.
3 times a day, maybe in the morning when you get up, between 6 and 8 o'clock.
Yeah, lunchtime and dinner time.
Lunchtime, dinner time, but don't take it before you go to bed.
Yeah, it seems like if you need something for pain relief, you might want to go, like acetaminophen or something like that, but not an anti-inflammatory.
Sure. Okay. So if you're going to take the ibuprofen, take it those times. Take it with some food, at least some milk. Is that correct?
Definitely want to take it with some food, but the big thing too to take away on this is a theoretical study, and it's not done in people. It was done in animals. So we want to be real careful with that. Talk with your doctor to make sure of it. But I mean, the logic and science is really sound, and so I think that it might unlock a lot of possibilities. Because the problem is with pain relief, rest is healing, and when we have pain, we don't rest well, and if we're not resting well, we're not healing well.
Sure.
So got to come up with a way that's going to do a better job. And we know that anti-inflammatories are a good painkiller. We know that opioids are a good painkiller. And so probably the combination of the two is probably something, at least post-surgically, that most doctors will always do.
Sure.
But they don't want to put people on opioids for too long because obviously there's addiction and other side effects that occur. But
Sure.
the same thing with NSAIDs. If we take NSAIDs all the time, we run the risk with our kidneys, having some trouble with that. People that have bad hearts, we could have
NSAIDs.
non-steroidals like ibuprofen, so naproxen, and then there's several prescriptions as well.
Sure.
So we want to make sure that our doctors are aware. The doctors are going to be acutely aware, but talk it over with your doctor if you've got kind of a game plan. Like, hey, I heard this study and said that maybe it's better to take this during the daytime and lay off the anti-inflammatories at night.
Right.
Just see if it's right for you. We
Right.
don't want to steer you in the wrong direction,
Sure.
but the study seems pretty overwhelmingly positive that daytime use does a better job for you, better
Sure.
healing while you sleep.
Then we did say 3 prongs. So you go on to the next phase, and this is more, where a therapist comes in,
Yep.
and it's basic information. Elevate. If you got a swollen ankle, elevate it. Don't, leave it hang down where you're sitting. Get it up in a chair in front of you or on a couch above the level of your heart.
Yep.
Get gravity working with it. You can wrap it with a ACE wrap. Not too tight. That's the biggest mistake people make, is they wrap too tight. You should be able to easily slip 2 to 3 fingers underneath the ACE wrap and easily pull them out. It should not be too tight. Otherwise, you acts like a tourniquet. Things do not flow. And then cold packs. I'm a big fan of cold packs. Not for everyone. They only use them if they feel good and you get good results while you use them and afterwards, the next 2 to 3 hours. But there's some studies coming out that are showing cold packs may not be the way to go. But I tell you what, I'm going to have to really, I'm going to look
Examine
at
that.
yeah,
very
examine
closely.
those, because I've had really good luck personally as well as with patients over the last 20 years. So I think you're pretty safe using a cold pack. So those are the 3 points.
Yeah.
Ibuprofen, don't take it right before bed. Take the proper amounts. Compression, elevate, and cold packs. So, wow. I'd say, Chris, you gave a full and detailed explanation of what's the recent studies, and I don't know what else to say. But one thing for sure is I don't think it's going to help with a broken heart.
Nope, we can't figure out how to fix that yet.
And we're working on that. So very good. Take care until the next episode.
Thanks, guys.